Welcome to the Wisdom That Breathes channel. Across all our platforms, we try to share wisdom which is relevant and accessible to everyone. But on this particular platform, we go deeper into some of the ancient principles found within the scriptures. If you find some of the terminology difficult or inaccessible, then go over to our Keshava Swami YouTube channel where you'll be able to find other content which is perhaps more relatable. Thank you and enjoy the wisdom that breathes. Hare Krishna everyone, thank you so much. When I was with Rukmini Krishna Prabhu in GBC college, I could understand he is actually a sadhu. It is said, Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo Priyakaro Nirmatsaro Pujito. So he is like that. He has no envy, such a clean heart, simple soul, powerful sadhu. So you're all fortunate, we're fortunate. Please give me your blessings, Prabhu. Maybe you should turn this little down because some feedback is there, no? Is it? Maybe little down. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So this morning we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 10, chapter number 47, entitled The Song of the Bee. And today we're reading from text number 14. Kimeha bahusad angre gayasi tvam yadunam adhipatim agrahanam agrato na puranam vijaya sakha sakinam giyatam tat prasanga Shapita kucharujaste kalpayanti stamishta Kimeha bahusadangre gayasi tvam yadunam Adhipatim agrahanam agrato na puranam Vijaya sakha sakinam giyatam tat prasanga Shapita kucharujaste kalpayanti stamishtaha Kimeha bahusadangre gayasi tvam yadunam Adhipatim agrahanam agrato na puranam Vijaya sakhi sakinam giyatam tat prasanga Shapita kucharujaste kalpayanti stamishta
Mataji's. Kim, why? Iha, here. Bahu, much. Satangre, O.B. 6-footed one. Gayasi, are singing. Tvam, you. Yadunam, of the Yadus. Adhipatim, about the master. Agrahanam, who have no home. Agrata, in front of. Naha, us. Puranam, old. Vijaya, of Arjun. Sakha, of the friend. Sakinam, for the friends. Giyatam, should be sung. Tat, of him. Prasanga, the topics. Kshapita, relieved. Kucha, of whose breasts. Rujaha, the pain. They. Kalpayanti, will provide. Ishtam, the charity you desire. Ishtaha, his beloveds. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. O B, why do you sing here so much about the Lord of the Yadus in front of us homeless people? These topics are old news to us. Better you sing about that friend of Arjun in front of his new girlfriends, the burning desire in whose breasts he is now relieved. Those ladies will surely give you the charity you are begging. Purport. With the words Agrahanam Agrato Naha, Radharani laments that even though she and the other gopis gave up their homes to love Krishna in a conjugal relationship, the Lord left them and became a prince in the great royal city of the Yadus. Besides meaning Arjun the victor, the word Vijaya also directly indicates Sri Krishna, who is always victorious in his endeavors. And besides meaning old news, the word Puranam also indicates that Sri Krishna is glorified in the ancient Vedic scriptures of that name. In this verse, we observe in Radharani's mood the seed of jealous anger, which arises from an apparent disdain for Krishna, accompanied by a sarcastic sidelong glance directed toward him. Thus, this verse fits the following description of Vijalpa from the Ujjval Nilamani, 14.186. Vraktaya suyaya guda manamudra taralaya aghadvisi katakshoktir vijalpo vidusham mataha. According to learned authorities, Vijalpa is sarcastic speech that is addressed to the killer of Agha, and that openly expresses jealousy while at the same time hinting at one's angry pride. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Varijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Śrīla Prabhupada की
हरे कृष्ण। सब लोग थोड़ा आगे आगे आ सकते हैं, काफ़ी लोगों को स्पेस मिल जाएगा। प्लीज़ आगे आगे आ जाइए।
One time someone from England, they had gone to India. So when they came back, they were meeting all their friends. They were about to have a meeting. But before they begun the meeting, they said to this person, "You just came back from India. Can you tell us one thing you learnt in India?" One time someone asked me that question. I said, "Don't drive in India." That was the main lesson. So they asked him, "Can you tell us something you learn in India?" And you know what he said? "In India I learned that Krishna is definitely God." I said, "Wow, you met some sadhu, you read some scripture, you heard some pravachan." He said, No, I looked at all the gods of India, and when I looked at pictures of all of them, they were all doing different types of work. Some of them were meditating, creating, doing some tapasya, sorting out some problem. But whenever I saw a picture of Krishna, he was just having a good time. So I could immediately understand, this is God. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, Svetashvatar Upanishad says. Krishna has no work to do. In Gujarati we say, navro. If any of you are Gujarati, nothing to do. So Krishna is always enjoying his pastimes of love. Most people can't understand Krishna in Vrindavan because Krishna in Vrindavan is so different to the God that people usually think of. People usually think God is very, very strict, very, very serious. But in Vrindavan, Krishna is joking, playing, dancing, singing. People usually think God is the one who makes all the rules. But in Vrindavan, Krishna he's breaking all the rules. He's specifically interested in breaking the rules. Normally, Krishna is the one who is, God is the one who is giving us what we need. Therefore, people are always asking, Dhanam Dehi, Rupam Dehi. But in Vrindavan, Krishna is a thief. Vraje prasidam, navanita chauram, gopan gananam, chadukula choram. He's a baka, thief. Stealing. And normally God is the one that you glorify. The Veda Stuti are glorifying Krishna. But in Vrindavan, Krishna is criticized. Krishna is the object of anger. Krishna is being looked at by his devotees and they're finding faults in him. This is amazing. Most people have never heard of God in this kind of bhav. In Vrindavan, Krishna is more human than superhuman. He's more natural than supernatural. In Vrindavan, Krishna needs his devotees as much as they need him. Krishna loves his devotees as much as they love him. Therefore, Krishna in Vrindavan is very, very special. It's a very special bhav of the Supreme Lord. And here we are seeing that Srimati Radharani is expressing her anger towards Krishna. You are having a good time playing here and there, but do you know what you're doing to our hearts? Every time when we come to a temple and we give a Bhagavatam class, then we always tell everyone, you're reading from a very special part of the Bhagavatam. And it's true, because every part of the Bhagavatam is special. But today, I have to tell you, you are reading from the most special part of the Bhagavatam. Sometimes we think, oh, should I go class today or not? No. Today you have to realize that this chapter of the Bhagavatam is very, very special. Shall I tell you why? The Devi Bhagavata says that the Vedas and the Itihas are like the two eyes. They give you vision to understand how to live your life. They teach you about Dharma. But then the Devi Bhagavata says the Puranas are like the heart. The Vedas and the Itihas tell you how to live a moral life, but the Puranas bring out the bhav from the heart. But then later on it's explained in Shastra, Nimnaganam yatha Ganga, Devanam achyuto yatha, Vaishnavanam yatha Sambhu, Purananam idam tatha. Of all the Puranas, which are the heart, there's one Purana which is the foremost, and that is Srimad Bhagavatam. Later on, Jiva Goswami explains that within Srimad Bhagavatam there are many cantos. But the canto that is ultimately the culmination of everything the Bhagavatam wants to share is which canto? 10th canto, Dasamaskanda. Later on, the Acharyas explain that if the 10th canto is the heart of Krishna, then there are 5 chapters in the 10th canto which are like the 5 life years of Krishna. Because in these 5 chapters, the separation between Krishna and his devotees is described in an extremely beautiful way. And you know what those 5 chapters are? 21. This is called Venu Geet, the song of the flute. Because when the gopis hear Krishna's flute, then immediately they are going into separation, because the flute is like a stimulant which awakens their remembrance of Krishna, but Krishna is not there. The 31st chapter of the 10th canto is known as Gopi Geet, because later on Krishna comes to the Rasa Mandali, but then Krishna leaves. And when Krishna leaves, then the gopis go into extreme separation. Atati adbhavan anikananam Truti yugayate tvam apasyatam Kutila kuntalam Shrimukham chate Jada udikshitam Pakshmakrit drisham. Say, Krishna, when you leave, we feel a truti, a moment to be like a yuga, a millennium. And Krishna, even when we see you, Shri Mukham Chate, your beautiful face, Kutila Kundalam, which is surrounded by beautiful curly hair, even when we see you, we're not satisfied, because this crazy creator, Brahma, he created eyes which have eyelids. And they blink. And that means for one moment we can't see you. The 35th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam's 10th canto is known as Yugala Geet. Because in this chapter, the gopis are experiencing separation from Krishna when Krishna every single day goes out with the gopas to herd the cows. And therefore, they're feeling extreme separation. When will Krishna come back? When will he come back? The 39th chapter of the 10th canto is known as Viraha Geet. Because what happens in the 39th chapter of the 10th canto? Akrura comes to Vrindavan. And the gopis say, Akrura, you are just like a Yamaduta. Kamsa is like Yamaraj. And you are like a Yamaduta because you're coming to Vrindavan, and just like the Yamadutas take the soul from the body and rip it out and leave the body lifeless, you're coming to Vrindavan, you're taking Krishna and you're leaving us for dead. But then the 47th chapter of the 10th canto is known as Brahmaragit, the song of the bee. Because Krishna has left, but then Krishna sends Uddhav and says, come back to Vrindavan and give the gopis a message. Don't worry, you be okay. Don't be mad. Soon we will be together again. Srimati Radharani is not satisfied. And therefore when this Uddhav is giving the instructions, Uddhav Kyari, you can go to that place. Then Srimati Radharani sees a bee. And she thinks the bee is also a messenger of Krishna, and therefore she's criticizing Krishna to the bee. Now it's said that of the 5 chapters, which are the 5 life years of Krishna in the 10th canto, the 47th chapter is actually the culmination. Because in this chapter, the feeling of separation of the gopis from Krishna is at its apex. And therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he wanted to experience the love that Srimati Radharani feels for Krishna, then in the last 12 years he went to the Gambhira in Jagannath Puri. And it's said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood of separation in the Gambhira, in Jagannath Puri, was the same as Srimati Radharani's mood of separation when Uddhav came to give the message to the gopis from Krishna, which is found in the 47th chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Puranas are the heart, but Srimad Bhagavatam is the heart of the heart. But Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto is the heart of the heart of the heart. But then there are 5 chapters which are the heart of the heart of the heart of the heart. And then there is the 47th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, which is the heart of the heart of the heart of the heart of the heart. So, if you're in any doubts about whether to come Bhagavatam class or not, don't hesitate. This is very, very deep. Who are we? Srila Prabhupada is giving us access into the deepest relationship between Srimati Radharani and Krishna. Srimati Radharani is criticizing Krishna. Are you on Krishna's side or are you on Srimati Radharani's side? That's the question. Whose side are you on? Radharani? You're not Krishna Bhakta? Or Vaishnava? You on Radharani's side? Sure. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, Vaishnavas are worshippers of Vishnu. Karshnas are worshippers of Krishna. But Gaudiyas are worshippers of... You passed. When the Vaishnavas read this, Srimati Radharani's jealous anger, her criticism of Krishna, they're feeling so bad for Srimati Radharani. Oh, why Srimati Radharani has to go through this? How Krishna can do this? Even the great devotees, along with Radharani, they will also criticize Krishna. We are not there. One poet, he writes very beautifully. He says, Krishna, all the living entities in this world are aparadikas. They're all offensive. But you are always forgiving them. That is very nice. But then the poet, he looks at Krishna and he says, but Krishna, if you ever become aparadika, if you ever distance yourself from Srimati Radharani, we will never forgive you. You forgive all the aparadikas. But if you distance yourself from Srimati Radharani, we'll never forgive you. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, some people are interested in Radharani because of her connection with Krishna. He said, we are interested in Krishna because of his connection with Radharani. This is all very, very deep subject matter. How can we ever understand the love between Krishna and Srimati Radharani? Srimati Radharani's love is glorified because there are different intensities of love. You see, one type of love is love which is reciprocated. Then, higher than that is a love which continues when there's no reciprocation. But higher than even that is love when there's rejection. Love in reciprocation is like sambhoga. Krishna and Srimati Radharani and the gopis, they are enjoying love. Love when there is no reciprocation is when Krishna is out and he's away somewhere and there's no reciprocation. This is known as vipralamba, separation. But sometimes Krishna doesn't just distance himself from the gopis. What Krishna then goes and does is accept someone else. In this case, the queens of Dwarka. And therefore, that is not just love without reciprocation, that is love in rejection. Yet the love of Srimati Radharani just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Praghada premera e swabhavachar nijadukha vignadira nakore vichar. This is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. How will you understand that someone has prema? Sometimes we wake up in the morning and we think, do I have any love for Krishna? Do I have any prema? You know what Chaitanya Charitamrita says? There's one very easy way you can understand whether you have prema for Krishna or not. Premera, praghada premera e swabhavachar. What is the swabhav? What is the intrinsic quality in someone's being that shows that they have love for Krishna? Nija dukha, vignadira, nakore vichar. Even if there are obstacles, even if there's lack of reciprocation, even if there's rejection, their love will never become less. In fact, their love will become more. Sarvatha dvamsarahitam satyapi dvamsakarane yad bhava bandayo yuno sa prema parikirtita. This definition is also given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sa prema parikirtita. How can you understand someone has prem when there's every reason that they should give up a relationship with someone, but they don't? You have to understand they have prema. Therefore, the great devotees, there are so many obstacles to loving Krishna in their life, but all of those obstacles just cause their love to increase more and more and more. When there is rainfall, then if the rainfall storm comes on a mud hut, then the mud hut will disintegrate. If there is a storm and it falls on a wet cement wall, then the rainfall of water will cause that wet cement wall to actually become strong. And when there is a storm and it falls on a mountain, then the mountain will show beautiful flowers and the fragrance of the plants and the vegetation will come out. So one type of person, when the storm of obstacles comes, their spiritual life is destroyed. Another type of person, when the obstacles of material world come, they learn how to use it to become stronger. But there's a third type of person who, when the storms of obstacles come in their life, it makes their devotion even more glorified and beautiful. Therefore, in the relationship between Krishna and Srimati Radharani, there are so many obstacles because it makes things sweeter and more fragrant and more beautiful. Just like if you want the real fragrance of sandalwood to come out, then you have to keep rubbing it, isn't it? More and more, rubbing it. The more you rub it, the more the fragrance comes out. If you want, for example, the sweetness of the sugar cane to come out, then what do you have to do? You have to grind it more and more. The more you grind it, the more the sweetness of the juice comes out. If you want gold to show its beautiful, resplendent quality, then what do you have to do? You have to boil it, high temperature, and then the gold becomes molten gold. So are you ready? Are you ready to be crushed? Are you ready to be fried? Are you ready for friction? That is what Krishna arranges in order to intensify the love of a devotee. It's very, very difficult. Because when these things come in our life, we become bewildered. We become disinspired. We become frustrated. Why are there so many problems? One time I was going in London and there was a sticker on the car and it said, "Do not disturb." Already disturbed. We go in front of Krishna, we say, "Do not disturb." Already disturbed. Why more? No more, no need. No, Krishna is saying, I want to make you cry. I want you to cry. Not the tears of your eyes. Those tears I don't want. But I want you to cry from your soul. Yes, those tears I want. But Krishna, your arrangements are making me cry from my eyes. Yes, Krishna is saying. But now transfer the tears from the eyes to the tears from the soul. And then, if you chant in that state of mind, Atma Krandan, without crying, Krishna will not come. when the gopis were in separation from Krishna, after Krishna left the rasa dance, they sang the Gopi Geet, isn't it? I mentioned. Did Krishna come after they sung the Gopi Geet? Krishna didn't come. Gopi Geet is beautiful. Tava kathamritam, tapta jivanam, kavibiriditam, kalmashapaham, shravana mangalam, shrimadatatam, bhuvikrananti ye bhurida jana. Krishna didn't come. Then the gopis, what did they do? They went to the Yamuna, and on the banks of the Yamuna, they just began crying. And when they cried, then Krishna came. Yeah. You have to cry. So, there are different types of tears in this world. One is the type of tears of people who cried for all the materialistic things that they lost. Oh, he left me. Oh, I didn't achieve what I wanted. Oh, this problem, that problem. Madhvacharya says, if you add up all of the tears that the conditioned soul has shed for material things over lifetimes, it will be enough to fill an ocean. How much have we cried? Think in your life for one moment, how many tears did you shed for all the material things of this world? This is the cry of a samsarika, one who is in birth and death. But higher than that is the cry of the sadhaka, the cry of the person who is trying to attract Krishna's attention. And then later on there is the cry of the siddha, the one who is in the spiritual world with Krishna, Srimati Radharani, and the gopis, who are also crying. So dear devotees, there'll never be a time in your life when you don't cry. No, we'll always cry. Only question is, who are you crying for? What are you crying for? If you don't cry for Krishna, know for sure the world will make you cry. Better cry for Krishna. Once I was in a plane, as you can see, I'm a little bit, Krishna gave me a tall body somehow or other. So whenever I go on the plane, I always try to get the emergency seat. Extra leg room. Yeah, you need some leg room sometimes, So one time I was going on a flight to Cairo. I go on the Egypt Air to Cairo. So I got the emergency seat. So I came in the plane. So I was there in the emergency seat. Wow, beautiful. Then even better, there was no one around me. I was like, this is the best. Vaikuntha. No anxiety. So just the plane was about to close, and then just the last few passengers came. 6 passengers. And all 6 of them were now sitting around me. So, oh no, Krishna. Now that wasn't such a big problem. But there's one problem with emergency seats in the plane. Krishna says in this world, every type of sukha is accompanied by... There's one dukkha that comes in the emergency seat of the plane. You know what it is? Babies crying. Because in the emergency seat, that's where they can put the cot for the new babies. So then, the baby came. And this day, the baby was on top form. Crying. And when a baby cries, No sound system needed. No amplification. It gets to the core of your heart. I was thinking, oh my, emergency scene, all these people, baby. I thought somehow or other I have to make this spirit. And then I remembered Srila Prabhupada said, you have to cry for Krishna like a baby cries for the mother. Somehow Krishna inspired. Mata smritir jnanam apohanam. So then I decided, I put my hand in my bead bag, and every time the baby cried, ah, then I closed my eyes and Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I tried to then absorb the crying mood for Krishna. And I tell you, I chanted some very good rounds that day. It was good. And then as I was landing, I prayed to Krishna. I said, may the samsarika cry of the baby become the sadhaka cry of this beggar, so that one day maybe it becomes the cry of the siddha in the spiritual world. That's what we have to do. So this is very, very confidential part of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to cry for Krishna. Srimati Radharani is crying, crying, crying. So His Holiness Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he would say, we are not opening temples. No, no. We are opening crying houses, where you have to learn the art of how to cry for Krishna. Not casual. No, no. Samsara dava nalalida loka. The world is on fire. It's around the corner. Maya is right around the corner. Be in no doubt. Therefore, always prayerful, always crying. Srila Prabhupada was once giving a lecture. He said, I will never fall down. After the lecture, Srila Prabhupada came off the Vyasasana. He was in front of Krishna, praying. And then later on, Yamuna Mataji asked Srila Prabhupada, what were you praying? Prabhupada said, I was praying to Krishna, never let me fall down. She said, but Prabhupada, you said in the lecture, you will never fall down. Prabhupada said, yes, because I'm always praying. Because I'm praying, therefore Krishna will always be present. So I cannot go into the deep esoteric aspects of these chapters of Bhagavatam. Is beyond me. I have no capacity. But what we can do is try to take the lesson. And the lesson is, Srimati Radharani is desperate for Krishna. And sometimes her desperation manifests in strong words, harsh words, critical words. We cannot understand that. We cannot do that at our stage, to come and criticize Krishna like that. But what we can see is that there's an intensity. It's all coming from a heart that really wants to be with Krishna. And that is the lesson that we take. That how can we eventually become like that, intense in our desire to be with Krishna. Then our spiritual life is actually bearing the fruit of what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to achieve. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So I guess if anyone has any correction, question, if anyone wants to cry. Okay, so is there a microphone for?
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji. Thank you very much for the wonderful, inspiring lecture.
Okay.
Maharaj, I want to ask one thing. That as you said that there are Vipralambha Sambhoga and Vipralambha Bhava. When somebody loves in what you told that
Reciprocation.
in reciprocation, that is called Sambhoga. But we as a conditioned soul, and since time immemorial we are in this material world, so we have forgotten that reciprocation from Krishna's side. And the devotees, the dear devotees of Krishna, they could actually relish the Vipralambha Bhava because they have tasted the Sambhoga. So how to remind us that Krishna loves us too much and we have been a part of that love and we have reciprocated equally with them. So that Vipralambha Bhava, which is the ultimate goal of a sadhaka, how to develop that?
Wow, beautiful question. Your exact question is addressed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he makes the question, if the devotee is meant to be in separation from Krishna, how can they be in separation from Krishna when they don't remember being with Krishna? So he says, how can we ever experience separation? Because we were never with Krishna. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that our acharyas explain there are 4 types of separation. The first type of separation is known as purvarag, which means the separation that one feels before they're about to meet their beloved. The second type of separation is known as man, transcendental pride. When Srimati Radharani and Krishna may be together, but Srimati Radharani becomes transcendentally proud, then there's a separation. The third type of separation is known as prema vaichitya, which means the separation that they feel even when they're in each other's presence. They're together, but they're thinking in the future will be, and their already separation is coming. And then the fourth type of separation is known as pravas, which means when time and distance is separating us. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that of the 4 types of separation, the only separation that the sadhaka can experience is purvarag, the separation that comes in anticipating of meeting Krishna. But then he raises the question, how can you have that separation in anticipation when you don't remember? But then he says there's one way to develop that separation even though you don't remember being with Krishna. And you know what that is? Hearing Hari Katha. Therefore, the more you hear Hari Katha, then the more, like for example, Rukmini had never met Krishna. But what used to happen is that everyone used to come and narrate the qualities of Krishna. So then Rukmini developed a deep separation from Krishna, and then she sent the Brahmana messenger with the love letter, and then Krishna came. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that if you want to experience separation from Krishna, even though you don't remember being with Krishna, then you have to intensely hear Harikatha. Therefore, this is our life. Yashyam vai shriyamanayam Krishna paramapurushe bhaktirutpadyate pumsha shokamoha bhayapaha. And then later on the sages say, Vayam tu na vitripya ma uttama shloka vikrameya trinvatam rasagyanam svadu svadu pade pade. We never tire to hear about Krishna because this is rasa jnanam. Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So it's very beautiful. So we must hear Hari Katha. This is a big agenda.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Maharaj.
It's okay, thank you. You can pass to the next as you like. You can choose, Prabhu. No pressure.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thanks. Maharaj, you told that Gaudiyas are worshipper of Radharani. But we worship both. So how to understand it?
Yes. Of course, in one sense, if you worship Radharani, you worship Krishna. If you worship Krishna, you worship Srimati Radharani. Just like Krishna says, Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam tvaham madanyate na jananti naham te vyomanagapi. I am in the hearts of my devotees, and my devotees are in my heart. They don't know anything but me, and I don't know anything but them. So when you worship Srimati Radharani, you're worshipping Krishna, because Krishna is in the heart. There's nothing else in Srimati Radharani's heart. Just like once he said the gopis were all together, and then they were asking each other, what did you dream about Krishna last night? So they were all saying, we dreamt this, we dreamt that. Then Srimati Radharani was quiet. So what did you dream of Krishna last night? And Srimati Radharani looked down. She said, dream of Krishna. Dream of Krishna? All night I couldn't stop thinking about Krishna. I couldn't go to sleep. For us, we're forcing yena tena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayet. Somehow or other, Krishna. Uddhavaji is delivering a message from Krishna. Krishna says, yes, I am the Paramatma, you meditate on me. Krishna is saying, you should meditate on him, then everything. They said the problem is not that we can't remember Krishna, the problem is we can't forget him. So when we are, sorry, I just finish and then you can come back.
Please.
Yeah, so when we are saying we are worshippers of Srimati Radharani, this is like in a transcendental position. Ultimately, we're worshipping Srimati Radharani, Krishna. Of course, in our position, because we haven't got the subtlety to understand Srimati Radharani's emotions at this point, we also focus on Radha Krishna worship for purification. But in the transcendental Gaudiya teachings, yes. Raghunath Das Goswami revealed that, Radha Dasyam. Tavaivasmi, na jivami, tvaya vina. Iti vigyaya devi tvam nayamam charanantikam. Raghunath Das Goswami is on the banks of Radha Kund, and in Vilap Kusumanjali he's writing, Tavaivasmi, Srimati Radharani, I am yours, Na jivami tvaya vina, I cannot live without you. Iti vigyaya devi tvam, O Devi, understand this. Nayamam charanantikam, always keep me close to you. Raghunath Das Goswami is Prayojanacharya, he is revealing this. But still, we are struggling in the material world. Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. Therefore, this transcendental distinction, this transcendental favoritism towards Srimati Radharani still is difficult to understand for us. Therefore, yes, we worship Radha Krishna together. And then eventually those transcendental emotions from a pure heart will come. So Srila Prabhupada gave us this very confidential. This is all like a treasure. All that's waiting to happen is the own purity of our heart to unlock it. We can't understand it from here. We must understand it from here. This is our prayer. I don't know, does this help?
Maharaj, second question is that we have to learn the art of crying. So please explain the art.
Crying means desperation. When we've realized I have nothing, I can do nothing. When we realize I have no qualification, when we come to the end of understanding that there's nothing in my power, but we still desire something, then you'll cry. But if you think you have it, if you think you can do it, if you think it's within your capacity, you cannot do it. Janmeshwarya Shruta Shri Bhir Eidhamana Puman Nirvarhatya Vidatum Ve Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. You have to become a Kinchana. Kinchana means something. Akinchana, I have nothing. We can come, Krishna, I have nothing. And then we'll go out and start doing all our dealings in the world, controlling. No, can you really? I have nothing. One English writer, he writes very nicely. Sometimes they also have nice insights. He said, the Puranas are a book that you have to learn on your knees. The Puranas are a book that you have to learn on your knees. You cannot learn in a proud state of mind. You have to bow. I have nothing, Krishna. Maybe we will have to become crushed by the material world. Scary. In Vrindavan, I was saying the other day, His Grace Burijan Prabhu made a beautiful prayer once he saw the sugarcane machine. You know, the one. And he made a prayer. May the hard crushing wheel of life extract some humility from my offense-hardened heart, and may the nectar of that humility give rise to pure love for Krishna. I don't know, are we ready to go through the hard, crushing wheel of life? Somehow or other, have to cry. That's the qualification. Davayvasmi, Davayvasmi. I'm yours. Some thoughts.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you Maharaj. Just continuing from your answer, I just wanted to inquire, as you mentioned about three type of cries. And
Three types of?
Three type of cries. Three type of crying you mentioned about.
Cry,
of a jiva.
yeah. Okay, yes, sir.
So I was just thinking, putting myself into it, how does a devotee, how does a jiva who comes to bhakti transcend himself from the crying of material world to the cry of sadhaka, aiming towards the cry of siddha? I mean, it happens on and off, because there are simultaneously allurements of this material world. But how does it become a constant endeavor and a constant realization? Thank you.
Yeah. There's a beautiful video of His Holiness Govinda Maharaj talking about crying. I cannot imitate how he does. There's a lot of bhav there, you know. But he says, you have to come in front of Krishna and you have to cry, I've been drowning in the material world for lifetimes. Now, Krishna, you please pick me up and place me at your lotus feet. The cry of a sadhaka comes when we come to the point where we realize there's nothing for me in this world. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to search for. I have no more aspirations. I have no more hopes in the material world. This is never going to work here. Krishna, you need to take me out. You need to help me. You need to lift me up. Desha maham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. You take me out of this ocean of birth and death. That desperation that we've... See, the problem with us is anyway, I shouldn't say us, with me, is that we still have too many aspirations. We are saying, na dhanam, na janam, na sundar. Really, we're saying more dhanam, more janam, more... na, more. Which one is it? From the mouth is na, from the heart is more. Sound similar. Polar opposite. Too many. Holding on somehow to let go, it's not easy, isn't it? Just let go. Simple. Once a person, he fell off a cliff. He's going all the way down. So then he caught hold of a branch. So he was hanging on this cliff. And then he said, God, if you're out there, please save me. He was praying, God, if you're out there, please save me. And then a voice came from the sky, my dear son, I'm here to help you. Just let go of the branch and I'll catch you. And then he looked up and he said, is anyone else there? No. Could be God, I don't know. Are you ready to let go? It's a bit dangerous, you know. I don't know, it's very... I'm humbled. I mean, who am I? I'm sitting here talking about these things. It's very high. It's very high. We have to try bit by bit. Someone told me recently, he said, your classes are nice, but sometimes I come out of your class and I think I'll never do it. I'll never make it. I said, sorry, that wasn't meant to be. So I don't want anyone to go out of the class thinking, oh my God, I'll never make it. You can let go of things one by one, maybe. Isn't it? Like, you know, sometimes people have a plaster. Wound is already healed, but plaster is there. So then you have to take the plaster off. Option 1. Whoosh, take it off in one go. Maybe we will go for option 2. Go underneath a nice hot tap of water and gradually peel it off. It's a little more humane. One way or the other, you have to take the plaster off. One way or the other, we have to let go. So some people go like all out, sarva dharma, and others go step by step. Whatever it may be. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji.
I'm okay to go on, you just let me know when we should.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji, Danvat Pranam. Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji, Pranam. Thank you for such a sublime lecture, Maharaj Ji. It was really indeed so profound. Maharaj Ji, I've got 2 questions. One is from one of your book, Tattva, and the other one from the lecture itself. Can I please ask both the questions?
Sure.
All right. So, as we all know that Bhagavatam is the ultimate nectar, right? So, in your book, you've just mentioned that I once asked a saintly devotee how we should read. He looked somewhat surprised. I don't read these books; I relish them. When he should read these Bhagavatam, we should realize that we are directly associating with Krishna. That's what you've mentioned it, right? So I just wanted to know that how could we develop this kind of feeling while associating with Bhagavatam, like while reading or while hearing it? How could we realize that yes, we are directly associating with Krishna?
So Bhagavatam 3:25 says, Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkarnarasayana katha tajoshanada shapavargavarbani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishyati. Basically, you got to go through 3 stages. First, shraddha. Your faith has to develop more. Then, rati. From that shraddha, that foundation of shraddha, there will be an increasing of rati, which means attraction. And when that rati matures, then it will become bhakti, fully awakened devotion and love. So this verse of Bhagavatam is telling us that when we hear Bhagavatam in the association of Bhagavatas, you have to hear in Sangha together. You have to hear from someone who's a living Bhagavat. Therefore, every day we're reading from Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, because Srila Prabhupada is a living Bhagavat. Jaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnave Rastane Ekanta Ashraya Kore Chaitanya Charane. In Antilila is mentioned, you want to understand Bhagavatam, then you have to sit at the feet of a Bhagavata and hear intently. Therefore, we're all sitting at Srila Prabhupada's feet trying to learn Bhagavatam, and those great souls, followers of Srila Prabhupada, who have developed that taste. You need to become attacked by the transcendental Shabda Brahman coming from the mouth of someone who has some relish for the Bhagavatam. Once, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there was a military general. So he was trying to explain to him spiritual life, and he said to the military general, just like when you send a helicopter with your soldiers, then the helicopter comes, it comes over the enemy territory, and then gradually the helicopter comes down and down and down. And then eventually the helicopter lands, the doors open, all the soldiers come out with their guns, they go into all the directions and they take over the land. So this person is thinking, my God, he's a sadhu, he's teaching me military tactics. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, in the same way, you have to find a sadhu. And when you hear the transcendental syllables which are launched from the mouth of a sadhu, then those transcendental syllables will be launched. And when they come over your heart, if you allow those syllables to land in your heart, then eventually those syllables will land, they'll go to every entire aspect of your being, and they'll overtake your consciousness. So, we are so fortunate in our movement, we have so many devotees who are absorbed in Bhagavatam. I was in London, we have one devotee, he's like he's working in the city, he's a good job. I asked him one time, what did you do on last Sunday? He said, at 10 o'clock I started reading Bhagavatam. I said, that's nice. I said, what did you do after? He said, I carried on. I said, yeah, I know, but what did you do after? He said, no, I just carried on. I said, when did you stop? He said, 9 o'clock in the evening. I said, I'm happy to know there are some souls in this world who relish Bhagavatam so much that they can read it for 11 hours non-stop. That's nice. Good to know. Maybe we need to find souls like that and catch the virus. The Bhagavata virus.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Maharaji, another question is that you've talked about love in rejection. So here, what we could see that here the gopis and the queens, if you talk about like Krishna, when he actually left Vrindavan and he moved on to Dwarka, so there we could say that Radharani was in love and rejection. But here we could see that gopis and the queens, the queens and the gopis are the expansion of Radharani herself. So just wanted to understand that how could it be a love and rejection when Radharani herself expanded in the form of queens in Dwarka. So, and there's another question also, if I could just.
Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Yes, the queens in Dwarka are expansions of Srimati Radharani. They are non-different, but they're also different. They also have their own personality. They have their own being, their own pastimes with Krishna. And therefore in the spiritual world, everything is simultaneously one and different. Because there's different rasas, there's different exchanges, there's different relationships. So yes, we are, yes, Krishna in Dwarka, yes, Krishna in Vrindavan, same, is it? Same, is it? Shyamameva param rupam puri madhupuri vara veyakai shaurakam dhyayam adya eva paro rasa. Yes, everyone is Krishna, but Shyamameva param rupam. Krishna is Shyam Sundar, param rupam. He's the one. Puri madhupuri vara, Krishna in Vrindavan, he's the one. Veyakai shaurakam dhyayam, Krishna as a youth, he's the one. Adya eva paro rasa, Krishna who's dancing with the gopis, he's the one. So yes, there is transcendental distinction. Otherwise, we become the M word, which we won't talk about today since we're discussing the beauty of the 10th canto. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for the wonderful class. I'm really grateful for your wisdom that you share. I have one question. We should be satisfied with what we are getting, but yet at the same time, in spiritual life, lolium, we should have desire to progress and to improve. So when I try for something to improve, but when I'm not able to do that, there's not cry, but there's cry of maybe sometimes frustration, anger, or I feel bad, at least that, today I couldn't make it again. So keeping that desire to progress, how can I positively progress and try and obviously cry in the right mood?
So on one hand we say you should be satisfied, right? Bhagavatam says, Sada santushta manasa sarva shiva maya disha sarkara kantaka debyo yathopanat pada shivam. Just as if one walks on the street, if they walk with shoes, then the pebbles will never cause them any pain. Similarly, if one walks through the world with the shoes of satisfaction, then they'll be happy in all situations. So Bhagavatam is saying, Sada santushta manasa, be santushta, be satisfied. But then on another hand we're saying, no, you should never be satisfied. Chanakya says there are 3 things you should always be satisfied with and 3 things you should always be dissatisfied with. You know? The 3 things you should always be satisfied with is number 1, the wife that you received. Or the husband you received. Oh no, if only I got married to him or her. No, be satisfied. Second thing, be satisfied with whatever money you have. Whatever comes, it's okay. We don't need so much. Third thing you should always be satisfied with is whatever comes on the plate. Pizza, paratha, whatever it may be. But there are three things you should never be satisfied with. One is your chanting. No, must improve. Second thing is your reading, understanding of Shastra. And the third thing, dhanam, charity. No, Prabhu, I've given enough. I did. I gave already. My name is there. Yeah, you can also give more. Always more. So lowly satisfaction means satisfaction with whatever Krishna gave me, whatever arrangements were made, whatever mercy I received. I'm satisfied. I got so much. But dissatisfaction is with how I'm utilizing it, how I'm employing it, how I'm engaging it. And therefore, a devotee is always simultaneously happy and unhappy. They're happy because they know I got so much mercy. But they're unhappy because they're thinking, I'm not utilizing it. But then they're happy thinking, I have the mercy, I can do it. But then they're unhappy thinking, I'm not doing it. So these devotees have split personality disorder. So simultaneously satisfied and greedy. Simultaneously satisfied and dissatisfied. That is very good. That is where you need to be. Then you advance.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Thank you so much for these deep insights. Maharaj, you mentioned the example of a poet who said that he is not going to forgive Krishna. So on similar lines, like my daughter sometimes says that she doesn't like Krishna because he left Srimati Radharani. So how to explain it to her? And at the same time, you also said that we should not criticize Krishna. And secondly, what Srimati Radharani will think if we say that we are angry with Krishna?
Hari Hari. I have to humbly submit that I don't know your daughter. She, I'm sure, is some great soul. I think children have a special license.
I mean, she is like 21 now.
Oh.
But she says this.
I don't want to comment. I don't know who I'm commenting about, and I don't want to tell you to go and correct her, and then later on Krishna will come and correct me. Or I don't know if it's my place. These are all transcendental subject matters. Generally, we are not trying to imitate Srimati Radharani's emotions. It has to come very naturally. The movement of the heart must be there. All of the other aspects of our life should also reflect the emotions that we're sharing. Otherwise, if there's dissonance in the way we live our life and the emotions that we express in spirituality, then we may feel that it's not as transcendental as we think it to be. So everyone has to do that soul searching themselves. I don't think it's for me to judge anyone.
As a parent, how can I explain it to her?
As a parent, you...
She used to say these things when she was little.
Yeah. You can explain to her the Siddhanta of how we are generally approaching Krishna. How, yes, Srimati Radharani is criticizing Krishna, but the very next moment she's captured by Krishna. So it's not like the criticism of this world. It's not like, a Facebook comment of a war, of someone who, just cut someone off. See, generally when we criticize someone in this world, we cut them off. But when Srimati Radharani criticizing Krishna, it brings them closer together. So you ask her, is your criticism of Krishna bringing you closer to Krishna? Maybe it's transcendental then. Yes, Krishna is but then Krishna is amazing. So that aspect is there, you see. It's not, oh, Krishna is take him out, take all the pictures out. No. Simultaneous anger and irresistible attraction. That's Srimati Radharani. Fiery anger and at the same time irresistible attraction. That is transcendental. If someone has that, let me know. I want to speak to them. That's powerful.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Oh.
Maharaj, I have a question that how to always develop a mood of being grateful to Krishna, because we have tough times and we pray to Krishna and he reciprocates with us and we feel, oh Krishna, you helped us, but as time passes we forget that and we are back to our selfish life. We are not grateful to Krishna. So how we can develop that?
How to constantly be grateful at what Krishna gives us. Krishna gave me an iPhone. It's only at 11. Simple living, high thinking. There's only two ways I can appreciate this. You know? There's only two ways I can appreciate this. One is if I utilize it. And two is if I lose it. That's the only two ways you'll appreciate what you have. If you use it or if you lose it. Well, that could be a poem. So, if you want to continually remain grateful for everything that you received, the only way that gratitude will come about is if you do something with everything you received. If you say, Srila Prabhupada graced me with so many gifts, I'm so grateful to Srila Prabhupada, he gave me so many gifts. But then you do nothing with the gift. Then how will your gratitude remain? Then after some time you think, yeah, the books are there, the temples are there, it's okay. No, but if you utilize it, then you'll be like, oh, Srila Prabhupada gave me the books, and I'm reading the books, and it's coming alive, more appreciation. I can't imagine, I never knew what Srila Prabhupada gave, is ever increasing. And the only other way that you'll get that gratitude is if you lose it. Then we'll be ejected. And then we'll remember, oh, the devotees were so nice. Oh, Krishna consciousness was so nice. I have to go back. I feel grateful now. Use it. Lose it. Those are the two ways generally people become grateful and maintain their gratitude.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, I have one question. First of all, thank you for your divine association and valuable words. So I have a question from your yesterday's talk in Rohini. So can I ask on developing divine aspirations?
Oh, yeah.
So Maharaj, I may have some divine or spiritual desires that I want to do something in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. But translating them to actions becomes difficult. It can be due to laziness or due to some circumstances, office or some other situations. So how can we translate our spiritual aspirations to actions?
Yeah, therefore we tell people failing to plan means planning to fail. So the moment you have an aspiration, the very next thing you have to do is create goals, create steps, create a timeline, create a roadmap which will help you to go towards that aspiration. Sometimes it may take a long time. Srila Prabhupada received the order from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in 1922. It took him 43 years to eventually do. But in those 43 years, he had a roadmap. He had things that he was trying to achieve. He wanted to try things in India. He wanted to develop an organization. He wanted to translate the first canto of the Bhagavatam. He knew, once I do these things, then if I go, it will work. And therefore Srila Prabhupada had a plan. He had steps. So you have to take a big aspiration and then break it down to a daily habit, to a weekly goal, to a monthly milestone. And when you break it down, then you start walking towards that aspiration. Mark Zuckerberg, to quote another acharya of our times, said, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can do in 5. Because we have an aspiration and then we want to just finish it in like 6 months. And then we try to do, and then we fail. But rather, if you look something long term, you'd be amazed how much you can do if you consistently apply yourself over a long time. Bruce Lee, to quote another acharya of our time, said, I don't fear the person who knows 1,000 martial arts moves. I fear the person who has practiced one martial art move thousands of times. You have to be consistent. You have to consistently keep going back to your goal and every day make one small contribution. Just like the water that is dripping on the rock in the mountain that you think is insignificant, but when it keeps dropping, and you come back after many years, there's a dent. It makes a dent in the rock because you're just relentless. So devotees, if we want to do that, if we want to achieve that, we have to, Madhvacharya said, I don't judge a person by how much they can do in 1 day. I judge them by what they do every day. Prabhu, I did 64 rounds on Janmashtami. Great. Did you wake up the day after? And do it all over again? We can go to a kirtan weekend, dancing in the mellows, floating. But then on Monday morning, can we wake up in the morning in the Brahma Muhurta and put our hand in the bead bag, all alone with the mind? Sorry, I'm a little like this sometimes. I'm not judging you, of course.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. Maharaj, I have a question that how can we remove false ego from our mind? For example, whenever we get a praise from someone or we achieve something, we kind of say to them on their face that yes, it is by the mercy of God, by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. But in the mind, we sometimes think that yes, it is by my hard work. Krishna has helped something, but yes, it was my hard work. So how can we train our mind in such a way that it always thinks each and everything as a mercy of Krishna only?
Thank you for revealing to me my state of mind. Guruji, I don't know, can we train ourselves? Yes, we can continually read Bhagavad Gita, Kartaham iti manyate. If you think you're the doer, you're just clouded by ego. So yes, we read Shastra to remind ourselves how small we are. Sometimes we associate with great devotees to remember how small we are. Sometimes we, in the evening, look back at our own life and realize, who was I? I was just some guy wandering in the world, and then the devotees picked me up. Without the devotees, who am I? Where would I be? Even cricketers do that sometimes, isn't it? Sorry to bring up cricket. But after they become like an India superstar, then they may go to Mumbai where they used to play in some park. And they remember, who was I? Just some kid playing in a park. And now I'm in the stadium, 100,000 people. But I was here. Go back to where you started. We were nothing without the mercy of the devotees. Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami says, I'm made of your mercy. In spiritual life, nobody is self-made. No. It's all the devotees who spent the time to love you, to care for you, to encourage you, to empower you. It's only their mercy. We have to constantly remember this. And then Krishna will, as I said before, the hard, crushing wheel of life. Krishna will show you how your abilities come to their natural limit. Sometimes we come to speak or distribute books. We think we have the formula. I know how to do it. And then Krishna completely blocks you. It's so humbling. Sometimes we come to speak Bhagavatam, we have nothing to say. No realization. Krishna blocks you. All your knowledge, all your ability, all your oratory power, you thought you were a big person, block it. Krishna took everything away from Keshav Kashmiri. He was speechless. He didn't know how to respond. He went back in the evening and said, wow, what's happening? No, it's withdrawn from the mercy. So yeah, it's... Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much. Don't have words to...
On the Vyasasana.
No. Most comfortable in this position. The nectar, receiving the nectar from you. Thank you so much for sharing your deep realizations. Taking forward his question, we have aspirations and then you say we have to make plans and actions. So if a devotee has genuine aspirations to push this mission forward, he makes genuine plans, follows the right path, but surroundings and atmosphere, so many obstacles, and he feels other people are not following the path, they are getting more success, I am being, obstructed again and again. So that makes that devotee lose faith, that what is the point in following the right path? We see externally the other devotees are progressing, they make external progress. But I am sticking to the right path, but I am getting stuck again and again. So how to revive that faith and how to continue on the same path? And because ultimate goal is not to have that spiritual target, ultimate goal is to have Krishna.
Love for Krishna, yeah.
But we forget that and we get entangled in that.
In the target.
Yeah.
I often say this, that I think first very, very important thing is to remember how much we already progressed. We have an aspiration of where we want to be, where we want to go. But when we take first some moments to realize how far I came already by the mercy of the devotees, how my life changed, my character changed, my desires changed, how Krishna fulfilled so many of my desires already for service, then we gain an appreciation, a confidence, a faith when we look back that we see Krishna was always there, Krishna was always helping me, Krishna was always supporting me. But oftentimes, because we don't look back, like sometimes people make New Year's resolutions. And I tell them, before you make a New Year's resolution for 2024, first spend 5 hours thinking about 2023 and all the amazing things that happened in your life. Because if you don't understand that first, then your goals, neither will they be meaningful, nor you will have the hope and confidence to reach them. Therefore, I tell people you have to look back before you can look forward. So I think that is... otherwise, the tendency is always to see where I need to go, what I don't have, but we don't appreciate the other side. So I think that's one thing. And I think a devotee lives 2 lives. Maybe in the beginning we live 2 lives and eventually those 2 lives merge. I'll explain what I mean. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the world with an external purpose and an internal purpose. The external purpose was to spread Krishna consciousness, and the internal purpose was to relish the love of Srimati Radharani. But the amazing thing is, what happens in the life of Mahaprabhu is that the internal and the external eventually are fulfilled simultaneously. Mahaprabhu is in Jagannath Puri and he's spreading Harinam Sankirtan like anything, but at the same time he's in front of Jagannath and he's experiencing the love of Srimati Radharani. So in one act, both things are happening. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas. Why does he take sannyas? Because he wants to preach. But when he takes sannyas, he also becomes vyavasayatmika buddhi, and therefore it fulfills his internal purpose. Mahaprabhu is told, take residence in Jagannath Puri. That fulfills his external purpose, that yes, Sachimata is asking me, I should tell her, I should follow her. But Jagannath Puri is also Viraha Kshetra, it's the place of separation. So simultaneously, by going to Puri, he fulfills his internal need. So it seems to me in the life of a devotee, initially we have what we're trying to do for the mission, and we're trying to simultaneously our own internal life. But I think what gradually happens is that they actually become simultaneous. Prabhupada, he said, my purports. How did he refer to his purports? My devotional ecstasy. That's an amazing statement. Because what that means is that Srila Prabhupada was writing a purport and he was experiencing the deepest connection of ecstasy with Krishna, and at the same time he was doing the greatest service for the world, which was to deliver the knowledge. Because his internal and external had become seamlessly integrated. So these are some thoughts. I don't know if it's helping. But
One can always remember the internal purpose also.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the chase of the external goals, we forget our internal purpose.
Yeah.
So we lose touch with ourselves.
And that's why I'm saying eventually I think the internal and the external, we don't see them as 2 separate endeavors, but we see that the external will never work if the internal is not happening. And the natural result of doing the internal is that one gains all the enthusiasm to do the external. then therefore Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said the best Gosti Anandi is the Bhajan Anandi who preaches. We think Gosti Anandi and Bhajan Anandi are two different types of ways of living. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur opened up the idea that you can be a Bhajan Anandi and at the same time a Gosti Anandi if you just take all of your bhajan and then you begin preaching. That's very interesting. So, I'm looking at the time. In India, you have more capacity to hear, I think. Is that? In London, after 1 hour, Sharira Vidya. Is it? Or am I holding you? I don't know. I can go on, but should we finish? Or? Let's finish. I think so. No. I think we should finish. No.
Yeah.